Hello, BookTube. We missed another mail haul. I might as well come right out and tell you that. I had company this morning, and mail came, and it seemed like the neighborly thing to do. So there'll probably be a lot more mail today, or maybe not. Maybe there won't be because the whole of the country is gearing down for a long weekend. Those of you who don't live in America, Thursday is Thanksgiving Day here in America. It's a major holiday. When 2/3 of the country gets into planes, trains, and automobiles in order to travel somewhere else, in order to eat a meal with family, friends, or loved ones, and then get in their planes, trains, and automobiles and travel back home. And there's no mail, there's no nothing on Thanksgiving. Everything shuts down completely. And although Thursday, Thanksgiving, is the national holiday, that means Friday is a loss, and certainly Saturday as well. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if I don't get any mail whatsoever from Thursday until Monday. And it's possible that I won't get anything on Wednesday either, because things just sort of wind down. They just sort of wind down. I can rail against it all I like, but it happens. And so the mail may be slim in the next week, just to forewarn you, and then it will pick up a bit, and then it will drop off completely. Oh my God! Because if Thanksgiving Day causes a disruption in Steve's routine, imagine what the 1-2 punch of Christmas Day and New Year's Day causes. And I won't even be around by then. So we have disruptions coming. I just want to buck you up and get you ready for that. We have disruptions coming. But for the meantime, in the middle of the afternoon, I did get a couple of packages of mail. So I thought we'd look at those and see if maybe in those two packages there's something squeal-worthy. There's one package that's fairly light and one that's heavier. So I'm guessing that one is an advance copy for 2019 and one is a finished copy for 2018. So let's see. No, oh, Frida's not interested. She's not all that interested. When there's no sunlight, there hasn't been any sunlight in Boston in I don't know how many years. Our grandfathers remember it. When there's no sunlight and it's just pouring rain and it's chilly, then all the life goes out of this dog. She just wants to lay around. Oh, great. Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, this is a 2019 release. We actually saw this. I think it was just yesterday, only we didn't see the book. We saw it in a catalog. So it's great that it's here now. Yeah, this comes out in April. And this is it's a novel by Joost de Vries. It's called The Republic. And the description, those of you who may not have been around, the description sounded like fun. In this book, Hitler studies expert and pop philosopher Josef Brick is highly admired by the PhD students and a perturbing presence to most professors. While he operates on the perspective that the representation of history is infinitely more interesting and important than actual history, he remains pointedly anti-Derridian and a die-hard Lacanian. When those of you who don't know Lacan and Derrida, consider yourself blessed. That's what an enormous waste of time. Anyway, when he falls to his death from a hotel window in Amsterdam, Friso de Vos, a young academic who's become close with the professor after years of developing a personal friendship outside the classroom, is his biggest fan and, of course, his saddest mourner. Suddenly, he finds himself sidelined by Philip de Vries, a man he's never heard of, who's being interviewed on every newspaper and TV show about his mentor. Distraught and angered by his lack of acknowledgement, Friso attempts to rightfully publicly claim his mentor from de Vries, with hilarious consequences. And this does sound a lot of fun. It sounds to me like Lacan and Derrida and whatnot will also receive a firm amount of sending up in this book, which I would be on board. I'd be on board for that. I will read this, of course, in the spring when it comes out, but I'm hoping that I am trusting this writer to be more adventurous than that pub sheet sounds, right? We've been reading descriptions. You've been reading book descriptions for a long time, so have I. And that book description that we just read, if I had to go for the least common denominator derivation of what that description means, it would be fairly obvious, right? Which is that Friso and Peter de Vries are the same person. that it's a split personality book rather than a rivalry between two proteges. I'm hoping that that's not right, because that's too easy. But even if that is the case, everything depends on the energy with which it's done. So we'll see one way or another. I have a feeling that I'll be reporting back on it. And then we have this the second one. This is our second package, and it's fairly heavy, so it could be a finished copy of something. Oh no, it's not. It's an advanced copy with no pub sheet. Okay, it's a novel. It struck my fancy, so I requested it. This is by Fernando Aramburu, and it is called Homeland, with a kind of suggestive cover. Right, the car's headlights really make the cover. But let me describe this to you. This is an internationally acclaimed novel. So I guess this is translated? Yes, this is translated from the Spanish by Alfred McAdam. And it came out, it looks like it came out originally under the title Patria in 2016. So those of you who are in Spain, was it the talk of the literary circles? Patria? Did people read it? Was it a big deal? Glad to have it in English anyway, although this will be one of those cases, I mentioned them on this channel before, where if I know that I can read the original, then I usually see if I can get it from the publisher. Sometimes it's a headache for them, and in which case, no big deal. I'll just assess how the translation reads as English. But a lot of times it's not a big deal. And then I get to know not only how the translation reads as English, which is, of course, the most important thing. I also get to see what kind of a translation it is, what kind of a job the translator did. And I like to know that. So the internationally acclaimed novel that explores a decades-long relationship between the two Basque families torn apart by violent insurgency. In one of the most praised and most successful literary novels published in Spain in recent times. So some of you must have read this, right? Two families are pitted against each other by the ideology and terrorism of the separatist group ETA. Lifetime friends become bitter enemies when the father of one family is killed by militants, one of whom is the son of the other family. Told in short sections highlighting a rich multiplicity of characters from all walks of life, Homeland brilliantly unfolds in non-linear fashion as it traces consequences for the families of murder victims and perpetrator alike. Fernando Aramburu alludes only obliquely to the historical context, even as he focuses on the psychological complexity of his characters, while building nearly unbearable suspense. And who is Fernando Aramburu when he's at home? He was born in 1959 in San Sebastiano, or Donostia as it's called in Basque. And he has lived in Germany since 1985. Wow, that's a long time. He established himself as a major Spanish novelist with his Antibula trilogy, Fuegos con Limón, Bami sin Sombra, and La Gran Marivan. Okay, it doesn't look like any of those have been translated. So his breakout trilogy has not been translated into English? I have to assume that they would mention it if it had. But anyway, that trilogy is about an imaginary state. Maybe that's Maravinian. An imaginary state which is and is not the Basque country, that is bedeviled by terrorism, regionalism, and nationalism. Homeland is his first book to be translated into English. Okay, so this author has a major body of work behind him that is not available in English, but this one is going to be. Okay, so that's March. So we have March and April. There's no nonfiction in this at all. And are both of these translated? Is Juste Vries translated? Yes, it is. Okay, so these are both works in translation. This is translated from the Dutch by Jane Headley Prol. So The Republic came out in 2013. So we have two works in translation for 2019. I don't know what that means. I am, of course, at this stage in the game, I'm eager to sniff out patterns for 2019. I always find that fun. Whether or not the year ends up substantiating them, I always find it fun. One pattern that I've commented on that I've noticed just in these very early days is 2019 shaping up to be a very good year for historical fiction. But what if it's also a banner year for literature and translation? Wouldn't that be great? Oh, that would be so great. Because the more of that, the better. Okay, well, let's call it a fad then. We'll see. Maybe we'll be wrong. But if I'm getting both of these in one day, I'm thinking probably it's going to be a good year for literature and translation. That's great. So that's it. That is a nice, short, brusque mail haul. 2 books, both made-up stories. There could be more mail today. You never know. One way or another, it's all yours if it gets here, because the company has fled out into the rain. And there's nothing else. There's nobody to distract. So if I get more, you'll be the first to know. And if not, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.